So today we're diving into a really intense book by Daniel Estulin called Tavistock Institute, Social Engineering the Masses. Now Estulin is very clear. This isn't just a book. He calls it an anti-brainwashing combat manual. He's aiming to expose what he claims is a massive, hidden network that's waging psychological warfare on all of us. He literally says his work is going to have the effect of a 500-kiloton nuclear explosion, and that he's here to prove the conspiracy is very, very real.
Right from the get-go, the book hits you with this super dramatic statement. It makes it crystal clear what this is all about. See, Estulin isn't just spinning some abstract theories. He's claiming to lay out a documented history of hidden control, a story he says is written in both ink and blood. And he claims he's doing it with the highest standard of excellence and proof. So, what is this history really about? Well, the book's central claim is that all of us are unknowing soldiers in a war for our minds. Now, according to Estulin, this isn't a war with bullets and bombs. The real goal is to get inside an enemy's head, to understand and manipulate what makes them tick, what makes them love, hate, or just give up. And here's the kicker. The book argues that enemy could be a foreign country, or, and this is crucial, it could be the population right at home. It's a war of perceptions.
Okay, so every war needs its generals, right? Its strategists and its command center. So who does the book say are the architects behind this whole campaign?
Estulin lays out what he describes as this incredibly powerful, interconnected web of influence. You've got think tanks, foundations, and secret societies. But at the very top of this whole pyramid, he makes a pretty wild claim that running the whole show is an elite oligarchy he calls the old Venetian black nobility.
And what's the purpose of this whole network? The book calls it social engineering. But you got to pay close attention to the wording here. This isn't about public debate or winning you over with a good argument. No, the book's definition is pretty chilling. It's about forcing changes on us secretly, so we never even figure out what's happening.
But what's the end game? I mean, what's the final objective of all this social engineering? The book's answer is, well, it's mind-blowing. The ultimate goal, it claims, isn't just to control us, but to totally remake us, to rip out our inner sense of who we are and replace it with, get this, an artificial, synthetic pseudo-soul. The stakes, according to this book, are nothing less than the future of what it means to be human.
So you might be wondering, how on earth could anyone even attempt to pull that off? Well, the book gets into the nitty-gritty, detailing a whole arsenal of psychological weapons and covert operations designed to manipulate people one-on-one and society as a whole.
One of the big operations the book shines a light on is Project Bluebird. It claims this was one of the CIA's earliest and most critical mind control programs. Apparently, it was born out of the shock of seeing American POWs making pro-communist speeches after the Korean War. That moment, Estulin argues, is when the whole concept of brainwashing exploded into the public's mind. And this quote, wow, it paints such a vivid picture of what Project Bluebird was allegedly all about. The land of memory, it's a metaphor for the ultimate invasion of privacy. Not just watching someone, but actually entering their mind, messing with their memories, rearranging the furniture in their head, and then sneaking out without them ever knowing you were there. So beyond controlling individuals, the book lays out this three-step process for manipulating all of society. First, promote countercultures based on drugs and pleasure to break down traditional values. Second, use the mass media, TV, movies, you name it, as a direct pipeline for indoctrination. And third, create future shocks. Just a constant barrage of crises, one after another, so fast that the public can't even process them. The book claims this just leads to apathy, which makes a population passive and way easier to control. The book points to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy as a huge turning point. It claims the event sent a message to the public that the visible government, the one you think is in charge, isn't. It alleges that a hidden power, this unelected invisible college, proved it could take out a president and get away with it, grabbing the real control from behind the scenes. To back this up, the book goes deep on what it calls Masonic symbolism surrounding the assassination. It points to details like the street layout of Dealey Plaza, the hidden meaning of the name Oswald, and even the design of the gravesite. Estulin presents these things not as coincidences, but as evidence of a carefully planned ritual killing.
The book also goes after the media, claiming it's a key weapon, especially when it comes to subliminal messaging.
The idea is that occult symbols, like the Masonic checkered floor or the all-seeing eye, are deliberately hidden in music videos and movies. They flash by too fast for your conscious brain to catch, but the book claims your subconscious soaks it all up, influencing you without you ever knowing.
So after laying out this vast and, let's be honest, pretty disturbing picture, where does that leave us? Well, the last section isn't about despair. Remember, Estulin calls his book a combat manual, and this part is basically his call to arms.
This quote right here is the heart of the book's message. It's totally rejecting the idea of just waiting for someone else to save the day. Instead, it puts all the responsibility right back on us, on the individual. It argues that the only way to resist this kind of manipulation is to take back our own minds and learn to ask the right questions.
And that leaves us with one last big question. In this battle for the mind that the book describes, what is the first, most important line of defense? Well, if the main weapon being used against the public is deception and manipulation, the book's answer is pretty clear. The first step to fighting back is simply to become aware that the war is happening at all.